works. And we are live on both YouTube and Twitch. Just give me a few seconds to also post about the live stream on my school community. We will be ready to go. So let's say 5 p.m. And let's say 4 hours. Nice. Awesome. Let me open up the current website as well as where I'm currently at. And I will start explaining today's tasks, basically. Let me also open up my notes so that I can provide an overview. So I'm live streaming again today, and let's say BudCop website / branding redesign. So we need to start by giving you an overview, and then what else are we going to start doing today in today's stream? So the overview is as follows. A founder that I know, we were having a quick call a few days ago, and he was basically launching a passion project of his, which is called BudCop. And this tool basically does technical due diligence for a company. Let's say you have a company that's very technical and they're about to get funding. Usually what happens is a very major audit which basically involves third parties, a lot of quote-unquote digging in actual infrastructure and all that. So what BudCop does is an AI-assisted technical due diligence through a very highly structured interrogation. And the current landing page basically conveys that well in terms of copy, but where it lacks is applying best practices when it comes to landing page. And one of the major setbacks that you can see right away at first glance is that there's a lot of copy and the consistency of language is kind of scattered. And one of the most on-point examples of that is CTAs like Free Tech Audit or Get Your Free Assessment. This is basically the same thing, but it doesn't get translated that well. And certainly it feels like a very basic website, and it doesn't really do justice for somebody that you basically have 5 seconds to scan a page, even if you are very highly interested in something. And in my head, if I was a customer, my 5 seconds spent would be very messy, and I would probably wouldn't really proceed in either a free audit or booking an expert. So the idea here is to introduce a unique brand identity. I really love the name, which is BudCop. So my initial idea was to introduce a mascot character, which I will talk about soon. But the first task was to gather all copy, make sense of it, and apply best practices in order to convey the same stuff, but with less copy or maybe with more focused copy. So in the previous day's stream, we started with very basic foundational stuff. So the page wasn't looking like this, the left side. It was way more basic. It was following the same color scheme. I think sticking to blue makes sense because the word cop by itself at least in my head, immediately goes to something blue. But in our case, I wouldn't want to invoke any feeling of like discomfort or stress, which really ties together with, I don't know, having a bad cob on your ass. So I feel like this specific design that I chose feels strict and feels serious, especially with the font choice, which is a Mozilla font, both of them. But at the same time, it feels tech-oriented. It gives a feeling of like a modern dark theme aesthetic. It doesn't invoke a feeling of like insecurity for sure. And especially my goal here is to add a graphic design aesthetic, probably something close to Yorbit and those types of illustrations. I will try my best to generate a few and correlate them to cards in certain sections or certain areas where they can benefit, because right now we have 0 visual elements. It's mostly layouts. And what else can I add here? The rest of the sections right now definitely scream in some areas AI slop. For example, this is a very quote-unquote visually poor section. Maybe it can benefit with just graphics, or maybe we can refine the layout completely. This is a pretty like solid area. Maybe we can check out what we can do here. This feels very copy heavy, so we can maybe focus on that as well. This is a cool start. It basically mimics the output that you can possibly get from following the free audit. So it has the risk. Maybe it can benefit with more proper color language, because it right now follows our aesthetic completely. So everything feels kind of the same, and you don't really get a good idea of where the score is, or is it positive or negative. So we can definitely improve that. And then I don't really want to go further. Maybe this is a good start, but we can definitely introduce ideas on footer, see how well we can work on the other pages, because as you can see right now, they're pretty broken. I'm not sure why, actually. I would thought that they would work well. Maybe it's a bug, because I see that the footer and the navigation bar are correct. But it's a good thing that we find that out, because it's important to fix those sub pages as well. So we can go back to the notes, and we can basically start with what did I say? Maybe we can start with section by section, actually. The hero for now looks fine to me. We can definitely focus on that more during the end, where we might have finalized the style more. So we can start with section number 2 and maybe introduce a variety of colors in order to indicate better results, like is my score positive or negative, etc. Generally, more visual feedback, and add more colors and not just sticking to our basic colors from our design system. This is a good start. Next, we can start working on section number 3. Right now it's too much copy heavy. Definitely introduce some graphics, or maybe one key graphic in that area. For section number 3, I think we can leave it as it is for now, because I don't really have any good ideas. So maybe working on the other sections can provide some cool ideas. So let's start with working on section 4 afterwards, which will definitely need if maybe we stick to the card layout, each card needs a corresponding graphic just for more, I don't know, brand identity showcase and to catch the attention. Or rethink layout, and since we are talking about the process, maybe we can rely more on specific graphics that explain the process visually, and then text comes second, but still visible. Then for the specific area about Michael, the expert, and how you can book a call with him, this card looks pretty nice. Maybe in this section, we can start working on basically, if not changing layout, we can incorporate an image of the founder / expert in a nice way. And pick the depth that matches the deal. Free AI audit, target takedown, on call, bad cop. Let's leave this as it is. And then the final CTA, maybe we can come back to this after we've done those few changes so that we can gather more ideas. Maybe I can introduce a cool unicorn studio animation here. Have many ideas that we can work on. So starting with those is a good base. And then what I wanted to showcase to you, that I was working offline basically. For some reason I lost my mouse. I hope that didn't affect the stream. No, I think no. So what I was doing offline after the stream yesterday, I was trying my best to, this is fucking sick, right? So I was trying my best to start generating some cool mascot logos that I can base my brand identity for Bad Cop on. And after a few weird attempts and some like archaic, I would say, outputs, because they are like 2000s Adobe Illustrator style, I tried my best to find some more modern approaches to mascots. So I started adding some visual references to Bud, the app that I use a lot, the tool. It's basically an agentic tool, has its own computer, and you can do pretty much anything you can imagine with AI. Run tasks, build websites, generate media and video, a ton of stuff. So I started dropping some visual inspo inside the conversation that I opened up with Bud about Bad Cop. And as you can see, those are more modern ones, maybe Y2K themed also, some of them. And the generations here were very cool right away, because one of the greatest ones was this one. I like the fact that the mascot doesn't have a mouth, so it makes it more judgmental and really heightens your curiosity. But at the same time, it's not really a mascot that you would look at and like get terrified from. You kind of understand that it's more so like a very strict detective that's trying to find the truth, rather than like an evil person or like an actual bad cop that's here to ruin your life. So I guess that's my approach to that. With this in mind, I was like, okay, I love this. So I was like, introduce a full body mascot logo of this and a better portrait logo that doesn't have the text. So the first generation was this one, which was odd because it introduced a mouth. But then this one was the actual winner for me. So what I want to do now is two things. Since we have a good idea of what we can start working on, I can start feeding those tasks to Bud while I am working on this logo cleaning it up, tracing it, making it a vector, and then started reducing some logo variations in order to slowly feed this into Bud as well after we're done with the initial tasks. And yeah, I think we can do a lot of progress here. One of my ideas is also that we can maybe introduce, start working on introducing a specific icon pack that we can benefit from. This is also a good idea. So yeah, let's go back to Bud and in the conversation where we're building the website, and let's paste this first one. So for the website, I would say start with section number 2. Introduce a variety of colors in order to indicate better results, like is my score positive or negative, generally more visual feedback, and add more colors and not just sticking to our basic colors from our design system. This needs to be done so that the user doesn't just look at this UI area and cannot understand the overall overview of this demo audit right away. Maybe something important to add is that the goal would be to not necessarily add new design elements, but refine and configure the values of current ones, especially color-wise. I think this is a good start. So while this works and does its thing, I can probably open up Adobe Illustrator and my downloads so that I can grab the little guy. Oh, I didn't download it. Okay, let's drag and drop it. Doesn't work. Cool. So now I have the guy here. What I like doing in Photoshop a lot is clicking on image trace in the drop-down menu and choosing black and white logo. And as you can see, the tracing is nearly perfect. I do see a lot of points that I could definitely spend more time refining. And if that's the final logo, maybe that needs to be done. But at a high level view, it would be really difficult to an untrained eye to notice like those minor inconsistencies. So I used the shape builder tool afterwards to remove the white background. And here's our character. So now I'm not sure if I want to introduce color, but it would be nice to see if I can edit some colors here with generative recolor. But maybe I need to first divide. Yeah, probably, because I think it's a whole. Yeah. Let me see if dividing this. Also, I'm noticing that I left those untouched. Nice. So let's also remove this one and keep this one. So I'm going to Pathfinder and I want to see if I can divide this properly. So Pathfinder minus front, divide probably. Let me see if I ungroup everything. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna work well. So edit colors, regenerative recoloring. Everything still looks white. Maybe I need to prompt this. I don't know, light blue and gray shades. I'm not sure how to prompt this. Yeah, I feel like I probably have to add color somehow, but it doesn't really give me any chance if it's all white, so that's a bummer. I don't know what to do. So you really cannot do mods. Okay, it's kind of unfortunate. Let's check on Bud real quick. So clean build is done. Here's what changed in section number 2. scorecard is now red tinted, risk panels, brief rows at the bottom. Okay, let's see the preview. Nice. So it now definitely feels more accurate when it comes to visual feedback. So maybe we can keep it as it is for now. I think it looks well. And we can go to prompt number 2 actually. So this one is done for now. GG's. So let's go and work on section number 3 now. So start working on section number 3. Too much copy heavy. Definitely introduce some graphics. Oh, okay. So since we are about to introduce some graphics, maybe I can take a step back and actually open a new conversation and work on BUD with this for a bit, just to see if I can nail down the style. So instead of doing that for now, maybe we need to add here, start with creating the graphic design aesthetic for all the sections on the website that needs to be graphic design focused plus copy. So maybe we need to do this in the meantime. So let me see. First, it would be nice to ask BUD to update the live website and deploy so that I can basically share the URL, the live website, with BUD again in the fresh convo. I'm wondering if it would be a better idea to start by fixing the rest of the website first, because I see a lot of layout issues, and maybe since what I'm trying to do now is more style heavy and not that much of functionality heavy, maybe this can slow us down. So I think we need to also add here, start first actually by improving and refining the layout of all the sub pages that currently haven't inherited any values because they look messy, and then we can work on the graphic design aesthetic. I think it makes more sense. So I'm also noticing that since we are about to do that, we can also focus on the overall responsiveness as healthy steps. And this can give us then all of the time to properly add graphics without having to worry about responsiveness. So I think this is the best route to go about. So let's say start first by improving and refining the layout of the sub pages, because I am noticing that all of our sub pages are broken as of right now. Only the header, the navbar, and footer appear properly. So let's start with that. And since I cannot really recolor this guy straight from Illustrator, I think it would look nice to keep him visually simple and as a sketch, because that can also be more beneficial for us in order to generate the graphic design aesthetic in a similar fashion. So let's say that we have this guy as a full body character. Let me try and round up his size a bit just to see how I can make it a bit more thin. So let's say that this is Bad Cop full body mascot, let's say. And then we basically need a 1x1 frame of the mascot in a pretty nice position that can capture a lot of details without and it got being annoying. So I'm wondering if I can grab this website real quick so that I can grab the color values, or maybe I can screenshot this, quickly grab close value of the color. So let's say that we go with a solid fill here. And let me flatten this guy so that I don't have to worry about frames and stuff. So let's say that he sits like that. I feel like this is pretty cool. And I'm wondering how well that looks in a circular avatar. Yep, it looks very fine. Let me quickly grab my website. I'm using this tool called HTML2Design, capture components, and of course it's not working. For some reason, this tool, I always have to prove myself and log in. Sometimes it literally just stops working. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Let's see if I can reload the plugin somehow. I think I can turn it off and on. Maybe that can help. Nice. Okay. So I want to grab the website real quick just to add a slight stylization to the flat solid background to see how it will look. I want to basically capture the bottom style, how it's outlined. I want to see if it would look well on the background here, and especially on the circular one. So this is how the website is being captured. And I want to go to this button basically after I remove a random overlay and see if I can copy the properties and then apply it here. Oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely a step up from the previous style, which was more flat, and definitely aligns better with the brand identity. Of course, I think I can go slightly smaller, maybe somewhere like that. And I think I can also bump up the stroke inside. Probably 12. No, 12 is too much. 8. 6. Let's go with 6. And I can do the same by duplicating this and removing the border radius. Or maybe introducing like, I don't know, 24. 64. Yeah, probably that. And I can also have a 0 border one. I wonder now if it would be nice to add a drop shadow to this more stylized version of those logos. Increase the blur, 24 or something like that. I mean, it provides more depth for sure. I want to see if I can increase this. No, it becomes too dark afterwards. I think we can stick to that. Probably swap everything else. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like this a lot as like a mascot frame, whatever you wanna call it. I think we can remove the drop shadow that I'm noticing on the outside. That's nice, so that we have a cleaner look. Or maybe we can introduce this drop shadow as an inner shadow. Yeah, maybe we can introduce an inner shadow that has these values. I'm not sure how well that translates. Yeah, very minor detail. So we do have an option to add drop shadow and one where we cannot, where we can avoid it. I think I will go with drop shadow. But either way, another important thing is to also start introducing the font mark here. So let's go back to bud. Okay, it's working. We're doing progress. We're probably gonna deploy soon. We also need to produce the font mark here. So if this is an icon logo, icon mascot logo, or whatever you want to call it, I think we also need a version where this is basically non-existent, or it's simpler, or we can stick even to that. Try to think. I believe that it should exist inside an ellipse, so I'm keeping this ellipse for sure. Maybe I can turn this into purely white in our case, follow the logo, or maybe black in our case, I think. Trying to think what would be the best way to go about this. I mean, a cool version of the logo, just to test it out, maybe I can bring some ideas, would be an obnoxiously big one. It would be nice for a footer or something like that. So I'm wondering how well Mozilla works with our logo here, and if we should stick to Mozilla. So Mozilla headline doesn't really look that bad, I would say. I'm wondering if I can make this minus 12 pixels, probably. No, it's 22. I think it's the best. So, trying to bring everything closer. Let's trim the cap here. Okay, let's introduce some healthier spacing. So if this is one of the ways we can introduce a logo, this one's definitely one of them. So here we can also probably work with the weights a bit. Maybe you can go like that, have a little bit more variety. Wondering if I can bring them closer, would that be a better effect? A -8, for example, for this one. So in this, what would be the best height for this guy to exist as a font mark? Probably somewhere like here, I guess, and see how well that can look like. Maybe use a mask. It's not that bad. Maybe this can be a more graphic design version, like a huge one. Yeah, I don't find it bad looking. I think it's a good start. Let me check if my stream works real quick. Wasn't really paying attention. Especially my audio. I think that's the most important part. Bad looking. I think it's a good start. Oh, nice. I can hear myself perfectly. Excellent. So, where were we? Let's check on BUD real quick. So the root fix removed variable backgrounds that made rows invisible. We replaced the max with a new shared CSS system. Okay, and same structural rhythm as a homepage for every other subpage. Sounds good. Let's check it out. So nothing changed on this one. Everything appears properly. Scope, everything appears properly. Method, everything appears properly. Pricing, that's actually a good pricing card. I feel like everything is pretty copy heavy still, but layout wise, I'm very happy with how everything looks now. Okay, so now that we're done with this, let's say we're done with this. So I think it's also important, since we mentioned it, to also work on the overall responsiveness for desktop, tablet, and mobile. So one of the things that I like to do in order to achieve this properly is basically go to my Claude skills. Wait. Basically go to my Claude skills you can find in your system, and I'm using a skill set called Impeccable Design, and one of the skills that it has is called Adapt, which basically gives you a nice skill to work with that adapts designs to work across different screen sizes, devices, contexts, and platforms. So I usually just copy this, and whenever I paste something on BUD that's lengthy, it usually registers as a user prompt, which is good. And now I can basically say something unsupportive text in something like, let's think, focus on perfect responsive elements following best practices, especially, or maybe give special attention to mobile and ensure the best possible experience. And ask away if you are unsure on how to configure and adjust certain elements for mobile. The responsiveness task should be, maybe should cover desktop sizes, tablet sizes, and mobile screen sizes. Let's hit enter, and let's go back to the logo exploration. So I feel like going with the typography you use is a good idea. So let's say that this is the horizontal logo. This is a more creative logo approach. So we can say that this is creative logo. This is a full body. Maybe I can use this to footer or something similar. Let's say that this is the horizontal logo. BUD cop, horizontal logo. BUD cop, creative logo. And then we can go with, let me check out. So we're using a circular one here. So maybe I can go for the website. I can switch this one that's simpler to the one that has the drop shadow and the fill. Maybe we can go like this. I feel like this balance is better in my eyes. Maybe I can do this and go here, and instead of having this like that, remove this. Maybe name this simple. Keep this as a horizontal logo. And a good idea would be to make this also ellipse, BUD cop, full BUD cop, logo mascot. And then we can grab this individually also and say this is BUD cop font mark. And let's flatten those actually. Nope, flatten those, flatten this also. And we can introduce slightly better spacing now, 24. And also align them as they are, and I can introduce a slight padding on the top, just so that I can have better visual balance here. So maybe this can also be replaced here and here. We can have a cleaner look. So real quick, we managed to create our mascot logo, place it inside our unique branding, and also generate a few other variations of the logo that we can now paste and utilize inside BUD pretty soon. So BUD is still updating a few of the areas that need to be more responsive for mobile, tablet, and desktop. So I'm wondering what else I can do here, or maybe I can just focus on finding a bit more inspo about the graphic design aesthetic that I wanna like replicate or get inspiration from. And I'm wondering if I can find some keywords I can work with to help AI generate more targeted images. So we have technical risk, analysis, technical advice. What can we bring to life here when it comes to graphic design? No code review, no site visit. Trying to think. 6 risk areas that actually move evaluation. Architecture, technical debt, key person risk, security posture, cloud waste, IP mode. I'm wondering if my competitors in that space introduced any type of graphic design language, maybe. Not really. It's mostly images and abstract stuff. Mostly images of people. Images of people and the sea. Images of people. Images of people. Yeah, mostly everybody is people-centric. The addition of icons will definitely help us, but I wanted to see if any competition was using graphic design language, but they don't really do that. Which is a plus for us. We can maybe introduce something fun here. But that would be a nice visual inspo because I'm not sure how to translate this language to something visual. At least for right now, maybe in a few minutes we can have a better idea. Okay. Competition doesn't really do much. So let's go here. And supposedly we did have fixes across all 3 breakpoints. We dropped hero sizes, stacking changed, padding tightened. Okay, tablet, navigation bar. Okay, let's take a look and see if we can notice any changes. So let's click on inspect. Start with an iPad Pro, I guess. Let's see how everything looks. Landing page feels good. Scope looks good. This looks good. Pricing looks well. The about page looks well. So everything looks pretty well on tablet. So let's go to an iPhone device. So right off the bat, I'm not really mad at this way of expressing the navigation bar, but I feel like it's too much white space. Oh, okay, it was this happens whenever I click on it. Okay, that's cool. So let's go a bit below. This is kind of cramped. I feel like we can definitely refine this model overall, actually. So on mobile, this feels way more hectic, actually, and I'm not sure if a lot of graphics can save that. Maybe we can introduce a drop-down menu here on mobile, just to save up some copy, make it more elegant. Kanzo, new sub here. What is up, man? Welcome to the stream. We've been live for 45 minutes almost. Day 2. And we're designing a website. If you go slightly in a few previous minutes, you can get the full overview. Very happy that you subscribed, dude. Welcome. So this feels okay on mobile. This can definitely needs to change. Maybe adding graphics, but I don't know, it feels a bit boring. This actually translated well on mobile, I have to say. It looks even better than on desktop, so that's a W. This for now I'm not worried, and this will definitely change later. So overall, the bot did a great job at adapting this. The areas that are weak were known already, so that's great. This model I need to definitely refine it overall. So we're at a good space. I think I can continue with, let's see, our tasks. So the overall adaptiveness worked well for now. So the idea here is to go for the graphic design aesthetic. Unless I can work on a bit more copy, so that can give me more time to explore the graphic design aesthetic. Vibe Tune, what is up, man? Welcome to the stream. Very happy to see you here. The sound is off? Are you serious? Why? Why is the sound off? A bit more copy, so that can give me more time to. No, it's not off. It sounds pretty well actually. Are you sure? Explore the graphic. Are you serious? Why? Why is the sound off? A bit more copy. No, I think it sounds well, dude. Do you hear the music too loud? Something like that? So I think we need to place this task and start it a little bit afterwards so that I can be able to end up finding nope, he's lying. Vibetune doesn't lie, man. Don't worry, don't worry. uh, so what was section number 3 actually? Section number 2, number 3. Oh, this one. Yeah, even this one requires graphic design support. Okay, let me think about this. Let me go back to my skills and see if I can apply something else. Maybe Bud can find some bugs for me while I work on the graphic design. Maybe I can run an audit also before we start doing some major updates. So we can perform a comprehensive audit of the interface quality across accessibility, performance, theming, and responsive design. And we can have a nice overview of what works well, where we can focus on. Maybe that's a good step before we dive deeper into finding a nice aesthetic to work on. So let me open up Arena and see if I can find anything graphic design related that can give me some nice ideas on how I can approach the graphic design style that I want to include. This is a good base. This dithered aesthetic that's isometric, but I don't really want to fuck with isometric especially, but I love the dithered effect. So this is what I mostly like about this. I wouldn't want to stick to the... Why would I lie, bro? Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's lying, man. But I don't know, I'm checking the audio on my device and it sounds well, so let me know what's off for you. I can try my best to fix this. Let me also move my microphone a bit closer. Oh, sorry guys, my bad. Sound was off on my behalf. No, no worries, bro. No worries, bro. This stream is still on the early days, so it's very possible that the sound can be weird sometimes. So it's all good. Holy shit, I'm seeing a lot of fucking weird artistic nude stuff. And I don't want to get banned, bro. What the fuck is this website? Give me some clean stuff, bro. Holy shit. Graphic design. Let's see this thread. I also want to keep in mind the mascot that I have, so that I can find styles relevant to that. I'm still not sure how to convey visually all of those elements. Maybe I can ask Bud for some suggestions on visuals that we can produce. A good idea would be to also incorporate our detective guy in those animations. Actually, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can definitely do that. But I'm trying to find a good base that I can feed Bud with alongside my character in order to see if I can start generating some images. Of course, you can do the same process with Midjourney, Google Flow. I'm just using Bud to basically generate the prompts. We can also test out, I think Midjourney, yeah, I do have a subscription there to see if the prompts work correctly. But yeah, just using Bud just for preference. We can do it with a ton of other stuff. Yeah, I'm not really able to find something cool so far. So I want to try this approach with Bud. So let's see what the audit brought to the surface. So let's see. Oh my god, how many errors do we have? Okay. Let's see. Top 5 critical and high issues. Form inputs have no ID and name and HTML4. Okay. Button component renders a span as a button. Semantic HTML violation breaks keyboard navigation. Zero focus visible style side-wide. Keyboard users have no visible focus. Okay. So a lot of accessibility issues that are great that we are catching up. No prefers reduced motion guard. Ticker animation and all transitions run regardless of voice accessibility setting. Okay. No open graph social metadata. That's something that we should worry about later. Is this website fully made with AI? Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. This is the first pass that I've done today. And if you go to the yesterday's live stream, you can see a more primitive version of it. But yeah, this is made up fully with AI. So we do have a couple of critical things that we need to fix, but I wouldn't say that I want to add the metadata and open graph banner now. So I think we can say, let's see this, backdrop filter used 5 times. Okay, this is basically componentizing and reducing repetitive elements. So I think you can proceed with fixing all issues from critical to low urgency. Just do not focus on the OG banner for now. And while this runs, I'm not sure how well that's gonna work, opening up Bud twice and working on the same project. Probably not that well, but I'll try my best and see how well I can if I can achieve that actually. It seems that I can probably. I'm not sure. Yeah, it won't work well. So since it's not gonna work well, I'm gonna stick to finding some aesthetics to support my ideas visually. Graphic resources. I want to find something that's more sketch-like, not so stylized. Graphic design, let me see. No. No. Maybe I can go to Pinterest. Is that Pinterest? No. Visual Glory Hole. That's a nice title. Retro ads. That's possibly a nice source of inspo. It's mostly photos, I guess. Probably. Yeah, it's mostly photos. Posters. I don't know, posters tend to be a bit high fidelity usually. I don't know, should I type something like sketches? I'm not sure. Sketches, I guess. Yeah, it's really nice. So I will probably do a mini break when we hit 1 hour. I think I will start adding this as an approach. Have break every hour to keep up some pace, not get distracted. I feel like 1 hour of work is healthy to have a quick break. So I will start following that. So in about like 2 minutes, I'm gonna do a quick break to not get caught up. But so far, I wasn't really able to find some cool basis to work on a design aesthetic for those visuals. But I'm not worried. We'll find our way. Oh, maybe this is also a nice aesthetic, even though it's 8-bit in a way. Oh, they're pretty cool. Hmm. We're able to find something cool. Okay, can come back to that in a few minutes. And while I'm taking a break, I can leave Bud working on this, and I'll be back very fast. Just gonna go take a quick break. Let's establish a break each hour. That's nice, I feel like. BRB! Okay, we're back after a quick break. See what the changes Bud made. So critical, we fixed the critical ones, contact form, buttons, visibility with focus states and reduced motion. Then changes to some elements and values, a backdrop filter, mobile menu, changes, hard-coded values replaced. iOS scroll lock replaced overflow hidden with position fixed pattern that preserves scroll position. Okay. All 7 subpages now have unique title and descriptions. That's awesome for the metadata. SVG viewbox dimension mismatch. Okay, let's check out the preview. So I'm still noticing that the scroll bar here is a bit annoying looking, so we can definitely hide the scroll bar. Sorry for the cough. So the majority of the changes were basically on the code here, visibility wise, and on the actual front end I'm not seeing any changes. So it's good that the audit captured a few errors here. And let me see what else I can run while we are working on finding the graphic design style. Maybe I can also run um, something like where is it? Harden will be good to also run in order to wait, is this the one that I need? Yeah, we can also normalize. Normalize skill is the one that matches any values that are inconsistent with the design system that we have. So it's a pretty cool skill to run also. So I can do that for now, and I can then also prompt bot to hide the scroll bar for a better visually looking website. So while while fixing any other hard-coded values left and aligning them to the design system, I can go back to finding some graphic design inspo that I can use as a basis. I think we're close to finding something cool, so let's give it a few minutes. Of course, as I mentioned before, now that I think about it, I'm. It's not that I'm using a bot exclusively. I also belong in a testing group, so I'm trying to see how well bot can perform also. So keep in mind that all of the prompts and all of the approach that I'm using here can also be translated to tools like Cloud Code or Open Code or anything else that you pretty much use that has agentic capabilities. So don't really get stressed uh, for the fact that I'm using almost one application so far. I will be definitely using Cloud Code a lot or Open Code with more models and stuff. But in our case, I want to make this as fast and efficient as possible without sacrificing on quality also as a way to see how far I can go. But you can use those approaches with any other agentic tool and it can work pretty much the same way. I'm not sure. Maybe we will be lucky finding something. Wait, what happened here? All 23 audit issues are fixed and deployed. Um, I feel like it didn't use my prompt properly. Let me grab this again and paste this. I think it was compressing the convo, so it might not have registered well. Maybe I can look at Framer, website templates. I want to see if there's any websites with rich graphic design elements that I can get inspiration from. Maybe creative templates. Do I see any cool looking graphics? Let me see. I feel like these are mostly portfolios, if I'm not mistaken. What is up, YouTube? What is up, Twitch? Anybody watching, let me know if you have any questions or if you want to ask something. I will be very happy to reply to you. We are now on a stage where, let me give you an overview. We are rebuilding this website, which is a nice tool that lets you audit your startup quickly and effectively before you get funding, in a very simple wording. We started refining a couple of the sections, and now we're still basically optimizing and preparing the website build, making it fully responsive. And in parallel, I'm trying to find a good base to start developing some visuals for the website to enrich certain sections. So this is the current status of what we're doing. And I'm not really seeing from the overviews here any sketches or cool looking visuals. So I don't know where to look at. Maybe I can go to art and design. Maybe that can be better. Also, now that I think about it, an idea popped in my head. I want to see how this outline looks with a blue value color, the mascot. I wanted to see that, definitely a darker tone, but I don't know, it's whatever actually. It might make sense, honestly, to follow one of our values here and match it to the color more. But I'm not that mad with black because on smaller sizes it's definitely popping out more than this one. So yeah, it was just an idea, it's whatever. Can explore that later. Honestly, what I'm looking for in terms of sketches, I think MailChimp has, or at least they used to have it. Yeah, they don't anymore. Wow, this website became way more boring than it used to be. Unless I'm I'm not in this correct area. They used to have some very cool looking sketches on the website, but I feel like it's not here anymore. Fuck. Switch to MailChimp? What? Where am I? What? What do you mean? Yeah, MailChimp lost its spark. They used to have some cool sketches, bro. Oh shit. Maybe they're hidden somewhere else. Events? I don't know. No, too much imagery. Shit. I'm wondering if I can find it as case study, maybe the people that worked on the previous branding. Standards and rebrand case study. What? Let's check this one. Yeah, these ones. These cool looking sketches were fun. And honestly, MailChimp is actually a good source of inspo because they do use a cleaner mascot, but their graphic design language is more playful. I wouldn't want to necessarily follow the ultra rough brass approach, but maybe those settings, which are more abstract, can help us also in creating a few elements for our sections. So I'm wondering if I can find them some better way. Maybe this is the only one that's actually good. Can I save this as a GIF? No way. Can I export this somehow? I want to grab this specific one. Export the element. Will it grab the GIF also? Oh, nice, it did. Does it work? Can I grab this MP4 actually? Yes, I can. That's sick. So maybe I can use this video to guide Bud after we're done with those few optimizations to see if we can recreate a style with this much visual language, maybe with no other persons, focus mostly on objects and other visual elements, but in a style that's less rough and closer to the sketch that our mascot has, basically. That would be the approach here. So now since Bud is working on basically normalizing the design and refining the design system, maybe it's a good time to now introduce those three versions of the logo: the combined version, the avatar version, the avatar/mascot version, and the font mark. Export them as SVG, and let's go back to Bud. So there were a lot of CSS classes that didn't have proper values and they weren't dynamic, so that got changed. Let's see if the preview works well. Yeah, nothing feels broken as far as I can see. I don't know if any errors pop up here. Awesome. So I feel like it's a good time to swap the generic logos with the SVG ones that we have. So let's say something like, here I have attached the Bud Coop logo versions, one version of the mascot itself inside a circle frame, one version which is simply the font mark, and then one full horizontal version. Introduce those logos properly and swap all current logo placeholder areas. And in a previous stream, we were facing a lot of issues with how the AI was capturing SVGs. MailChimp is a great inspo, I like it. Yeah, they really are. But for some reason, they downgraded the branding now. So the one that I wanted to see was actually a previous one, or they toned down the overall branding. I'm not sure why. So the issue that we had previously was with inline SVGs, and AI wasn't really handling them well. So I want to also make sure that you use, I feel like it was called inline SVG, or maybe just say, or generally I guess, embed the SVG logos appropriately to minimize any potential error with values afterwards. And ask away if unsure about where to add which logo. So let's slowly start adding the unique identity that we developed. And then we can open up a new chat and basically see how far we can go with developing an aesthetic. I wasn't really able to find any cool inspo besides MailChimp so far, but I'm not giving up. I feel like I'm gonna find something something nice. I don't know, but I don't know if I don't know if Behance is gonna be a good source actually. Maybe I can go back to finding websites instead of sketches independently. Because the variety here is it's actually a fun approach, to be honest. It's too sketchy and too like playful, probably. I don't know. Oh, it's so cool. Maybe this is a nice aesthetic, actually. More ink-like, less less brush strokes. Feels like more like ink. I don't know. Let me keep it. Let me keep it. Oh, this is actually a very cool style that we can follow. More like noir aesthetic. It might be a bit too comic-like, but I love the sharp, like negative space with the strict black and white. But it might feel a bit too comic-y as a visual base. Yeah, I probably will because the logo is not that detailed, the mascot at least. And this introduces a lot of depth, at least compared to the mascot, so I don't want that. This is also a very nice approach. A lot of halftones and like strict lines to replicate shadows. This would also be a good approach, I think. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Sorry for coughing. This is also very cool. This aesthetic base is a very cool looking one. And I love the also how abstract this graphic is. So this is definitely a winner. I think I'm keeping this as the number one so far. I will base the aesthetic probably on this one. But since bot hasn't finished yet, this gives us a few more minutes to explore a bit further. Oh, this is also a very nice foundation. Doesn't have shadows and stuff, but it would work well in our case also. But I feel like this one is still a winner. It's more strict. I feel like it captures the vibe better that we want to convey. Yeah, so far we do have one winner, so that's excellent. And we still have a few more minutes to look for stuff. I'm wondering if I could use Grok to generate a few more graphic design elements, like the one that we want to use as inspo, just to populate it a bit more. So I'm wondering if I can save the mods and basically come here and say, what can I say? Examine the visual reference I attached in terms of graphic design aesthetic and generate I don't know, 4 new scenes that follow the same surrealist approach to what is being displayed, while every single one maintains the visual aesthetic of the reference image. Maybe that's a good prompt. Do I need to click on create images? I don't know. So for some reason, bot stopped, I'm guessing. What's the status? Let's see. I'm very curious if Grok can generate a few similar images so that I can have more visual references for bot to help us generate a few graphics for the website. So done, both placements are live. The mascot ellipse SVG hasn't been placed any. It's reserved for a hero or about section. Okay. So update the live website and deploy. Think about your request. Let's see if Grok can generate some cool stuff for us. 1 hour, 30 minutes. We've definitely done way more things than yesterday, and that's very exciting. And I feel like in the next 30 minutes, we can definitely start working on a unique visual aesthetic, can probably start populating some ideas to finalize it. And again, you could do the same exercises with, as you can see, Grok. I'm trying to see if I can generate some cool images, Midjourney, any type of AI tool that you use to generate images. It's taking a lot of time for Grok to generate those. This kind of sucks, but anyways. Let's check the preview, and I do see the font mark here only, which is a bummer. I would love to see the horizontal logo fully. So I'm not sure why that happened. Yeah, for the footer and navbar, use the full horizontal SVG logo. Keep the font mark and the mascot slash avatar one for use somewhere else in the future. Grok, what are you doing, buddy? Nice, let's see. Surreal checkers wall where the flat board's edges vanish. Okay, let's see. Okay, we went with the same approach. I'm not mad at this, but I was expecting more variety. Give me more variety when it comes to the scenes, objects being displayed, etc. I just want to see more variety of elements in this specific aesthetic. I have the full SVG structure. I'm creating a TSX component. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. Let's give it some time to update this, and we are very close to start picking up some ideas on how our graphic design inspo can look like. Is everything working well on the stream? Let's check real quick. Is everything working well on the stream? It does. Okay, that's cool. That is cool. Let's go. Okay, let's go back to this. Come on, Grok. Give me some images, bro. Okay. What the fuck? I mean, I was too vague with my prompt, so I'm not expecting greatness here, but what the fuck? Why are you still sticking with the globe idea? Maybe I can just share the website. Check out this website. Check out this website. Generate two, maybe one. Generate one graphic that is based on our unique aesthetic that we are developing, but generate a scene that makes sense based on the context of the website. Do not generate another globe. Be more open to new ideas. Be more open to new ideas, dude. So I guess the navigation bar is being updated as well as the footer, and we're gonna have a cool looking logo very soon, and then we can focus on the graphics. And also on this UI actually, because it's still cramped, I think I have to fix a few things here. Make it less heavy with feedback colors, stick to the basics. We can definitely improve this. So let's check on Bali real quick. I think we're gonna be ready pretty soon. Grok is working overtime, bro. Grok is working overtime. Let's see. I'm very curious to see what I can manage to do with that. Yeah, that's too much. Wow, man. Grok doesn't want to get away from this globe. Yeah, that's a pretty much not really it. I think it captures the style well. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't really able to diversify it. So maybe I can start again. Why not? Maybe I can start again. So where was that? We can be more clear about it, even though I was pretty clear. Do not try and generate all of your ideas on how can I say, by using the reference image as a base. Only use the reference image as style guide. So don't go ahead and generate globes all the time. And let's see if the logo got changed here. It did, but it renders pretty weirdly. I'm not sure why. Maybe my values here were kind of fucked up. That's interesting. Maybe I need to grab my SVG logo here and fix it a bit. Let me see what's going wrong here. I can definitely grab this and expand appearance once. See if we have any fills and strokes that are not proper paths. So far so good. I'm wondering if I can ungroup as well. Let's see what happens here. So we still have the full body. So maybe I can go to Pathfinder here. And where's Pathfinder? Window, Pathfinder, and choose merge so that we can have a cleaner view. You know what? Maybe in this case, having this as a PNG would be better actually. Because now I feel like, unless it's not, let me see. No, maybe this can work well actually. Let's test it out. So let's bring this back here. Add this to a frame again. And grab this so that we can export this again. And let's go to bad and say try updating the current horizontal logo with the new one that I attached. And here I think I just need to bring this back. Let's hope for some better image generation that can give us more foundational stuff to work with. So the logo got changed, but I think my SVG was broken and not properly set up. So I think I now fixed it, and it's gonna show up cleaner on the navbar and footer as well. Grok is super slow, unfortunately, but you have to bear with me. Wondering if I can find anything else to support my ideas while Grok works as well as bad. That would be so fun. Make a mecha bad cop. That would be fun. Let's see, Grok. Have you done anything, man? Not really. Let's go. That's the spirit. Okay, let's give it more time. We're approaching 2 hours very soon. The progress is great. Yeah, I'm hoping that before we reach 2 hours of streaming, I can have Bud start working on some visual inspiration. So those ones are definitely kind of whatever, actually. I'm not sure if I like those. I think I will rely on Bud to at least get a better grasp of the style. And maybe I can have Bud generate a few. Unfortunately, my headphones are broken today because of my naughty cat, so I cannot hear your voice. It would be great if you could reply to me via chat. Dude, the bots are getting crazy. What do you mean because of your naughty cat? It's crazy, dude. I don't think I can chat with you. You're a bot. That's crazy. I think you already left. That's funny as fuck. Anyways, I think I can go with bad on this one, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I mean, I know that I don't give enough context to Grok, but what can I say, dude? Trying to think how I can get a sense visually of those. I want a sketch style, target diligence, founder prep. Should our mascot do something, or should we convey this somewhere else? Trying to think. How do you manage freelancing projects and overall daytime? Well, I just finished reading a book today. Let me tell you the exact title. The New Habit at Work. It was a pretty great book. The Now Habit at Work from Neil Fiore. It will give you a lot of great insights on how to basically motivate yourself, get out of a creative block and stuff. So if your question is how I'm managing my life as a freelancer and the projects, I'm just trying my best to start everything fast without having to like start procrastinating. And then it's all about what the task is about. Is it a short-term project, a long-term project? So it really depends. But I'm not really using any secret sauce or any crazy tools to manage clients. Um, I'm a very simple person when it comes to managing tasks and tracking them. It's either like a pen and paper or the notepad that you see me use a lot. This one. So I literally just type things out for my day. And the good tip is to start with the word start instead of have to, because have to is very negative and it brings the whole willingness to work down if you have to do something. But if you want to start doing something, it's more fun, it's more exciting. So yeah, just spitballing. I don't even know if I replied to the question, so let me know. And ask GPT for better structured prompts. I don't use ChatGPT actually, so I'm sorry. I don't really use ChatGPT. And for some reason, the logo still appears broken. So I think that has to do with me, probably. I think something in this logo is not optimized properly. Actually, wait, why does it appear as a full body still? Maybe for now I can do the exception to not waste a lot of time to have this as a PNG, and at the second time I can see why the SVG is broken now and doesn't work well, so that I don't waste a lot of time right now. And also let's optimize this PNG so that we can have the font mark as SVG and we can have the avatar as a PNG. I don't think it's gonna be a big issue. And I can find out why it doesn't work at a later stage. Maybe it's is it too small? Maybe I can enlarge this a bit and let's go twice actually, yeah. So let's say something like, let's use this and the font mark. So instead of adding the full horizontal logo, add the PNG avatar logo and the font mark next to it, proper spacing for navbar and footer. Instead of ChatGPT, I'm gonna ask Bob. Bob basically uses GPT and Claude, so it's the same thing. I just tend to not use a lot of things separately, purely because of costs. No, bro, I meant ask GPT for mimicking the style of the graphics that you want to achieve. Yeah, unfortunately, I do not have a ChatGPT subscription, so I have to wait on Bud to finish with this task quickly, and I can use image generation capabilities through Bud, and it uses models like GPT 5.5, Opus, so it's pretty much the same thing. I just have to wait for the task to be completed, and we can start working on finding out a correct style that we can work with. Yeah, this SVG is broken for some reason. I will have to troubleshoot this later, but for now I'm adding this as a PNG to fix this, and I can later understand the reason why it doesn't work well. It's not a big issue for now. Are you using the premium version of ChatGPT? How do you feel about it? Or are you mostly using it for like coding and stuff? VibeTune, let me know. Nice. This definitely looks better. I feel like it looks slightly smaller on maybe on both footer and navbar. So I would say enlarge on both footer and navbar for better visibility. I think it went too small for some reason. And after that, we can open up a new convo and start working on exploring some ideas with this aesthetic and see which areas we can fill up, discuss a little bit about the scenery, what makes sense and what doesn't. And I think we can land on a good result. We do have 7 minutes before the next break, so I feel like we can definitely start the task before the break, which is good. I usually use it to structure a better prompt. I say my natural language, he translates it to a prompt. Oh, that's cool. I actually, a few months ago, I built a tool that does that, and I don't remember the domain name. I think it's called Primo. What the fuck? I forgot the domain name of my own tool, which is awesome. Do I have it on my oh wow, so bad. How do I call this? Primo.io, I think. Yeah. So I built this tool a few months ago. I can probably hop on a live stream and fully redefine this, which basically lets you transform your rough text into polished content. And in my case, it's bring your own key. So you add your own key from, I feel like OpenRouter for now, and you can get some optimization on your prompts. I think you can use the app. It's a bit outdated, but you can use it. But it would be a good idea to update this whole thing on a stream and see how we can take it. But yeah, this is a good idea for a later stream. So let me check on the website. Nice. It's looking way better. It's way more fun. I'm not worried about the footer a bit because I think I want to make it more stylish. This for extra style points. So it looks good on the navbar. It looks good on mobile as well. No issues here. So I'm very satisfied. I think we are now ready to explore some graphic design identities, and that's gonna be a good segue to a nice break in the next 5 minutes. So let's make sure, is it open? Yeah. So let's grab this image. I'm gonna try to add the same prompt, but I will also maybe include that, uh, what can I say? I want to start um, adding more visual elements to certain sections on the Bad Cop website, which is this one. And for starters, it would be good for you, based on the product's context, to try and generate. I think we can choose. I think we can choose this one, the go from target screen to investor ready brief, basically the process. Maybe and try to generate 3 graphics, one for each card, for the process section, where you can see the O1, O2, O3 steps with each card corresponding to one. So I think that's pretty clear, and I feel like we're gonna have a couple of cool drafts that we can examine. So let me hit enter, see if it needs more feedback or anything else that needs to be added. Cool, I will try the tool later. Oh yeah, cool. That would be awesome, bro. It's called Prymo.io, Prymo.io. It's a bring your own key tool, so you just have to add an API key, and it's basically only your cost, nothing else. It needs a lot of optimization for sure. It's been months since I last worked on it, so maybe I can actually do this on a live stream. We can start working on it, see how far we can go, build a better landing page for it. Yeah, it would be nice. So let's see if those generations are good, and we can prompt Bud one more time before I go into a quick break. We are almost 2 hours in, which is great. I feel like this is a very productive stream so far. Yeah, these are crazy looking. It's too much. It's too much info. I think I should have been more clear to not use any text in like labels or boxes or any titles and stuff. So that was my bad for sure. So number one, do not add text on the illustrations for sure. That's a mistake of mine. And then I feel like these do have so this is basically what? Interrogation? Oh yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. It does make sense. It combines the old school style of interrogating somebody with a motherboard in a way, server room. So it does make sense. So do not add text on the illustrations. Maybe tone down the aesthetic slightly to match our mascot, just, I don't know, 5% more than it does now. So less heavy shadows probably, or how can I explain this better? Let me see. This is odd looking also. Um, Do not add text on illustrations. And a less heavy aesthetic overall. What the fuck am I typing? The three first scenes are okay, but I honestly only liked the interrogation one. Because what is the first one? Create the audit. Yeah, okay, this is the audit basically. I don't know. I don't really see it. And then the brief is the magnifying glass. Yeah, okay. I feel like bot can do better here and tone the style down a little bit. So I'm gonna click on that. I'm gonna have a quick break and I will be back to see what the output is gonna be. BRB, see you soon. Don't leave. We're here, I guess, for another hour for sure. Half, we'll see. Okay, we're back. Let me take a look at what Bud generated actually. I'm a bigger fan of these ones, 100%. And what is the other one? Yeah, they're actually great looking. I don't like this one. I feel like I need to change this one. I don't understand the gavel here. So change the idea with the typewriter and the gavel to something that's more understandable. Now what I'm worried about is how I can incorporate those properly. Let me copy one of them and first just focus on tracing it. No, maybe I need to, what should I do? 3 colors? Yeah, that really um, gets translated well. Maybe I don't have to turn them into vectors. Maybe we can work on a static image because it doesn't really get traced that well on Illustrator. Maybe that would be a better approach. What is that? Wait, what was the copy about? Create the audit. So why is the what does that mean? The concept is immediately legible. Company goes on the top, an audit brief comes at the bottom. Oh, okay. Okay, we can give it a shot. It's kind of a crazy way to depict that. Uh, Fuck, I don't know. Can you try one more concept with this one? This is the copy. This is the copy. And let's go to Adobe Photoshop, or maybe I can go to Figma also. It does have the remove background functionality, so it won't be an issue. Why did I lose this one? Dude. Nice. Let's remove the background first. I hope it does capture on the background and not the insides also. Of course it didn't. Okay, fuck it. Let's do it manually on Photoshop real quick. Dude, download this, I don't know. Help me out. Nice. And let's grab only the outside part. And let's bring this back to Figma now. Let's see how it exists just by itself. What's going on here? Let me start the dev server so you can preview it. Oh, I think it's adding the images. Anyways, I didn't ask for that, but it's okay. Let's go to this card and see how well that can look in our case. Let's go for a 1920, 1090. Grab the same fill. And basically, oh my god, grab those. What's going on? Let's leave it as it is here. I think it didn't capture any auto layouts, so it's annoying. So if we bring this here, it doesn't look bad, like at first glance, just as a PNG image with nothing else, because it actually fits the theme well. And I'm wondering if I can maybe do something more clever, like having them float, but I don't know. Let me make this auto layout real quick, and let's add this inside just to see how it looks at first glance. Oh my god, nothing is auto layout here, yeah. Anyways, let's bring this slightly on the bottom. Let's connect those more. Let's make this a bit larger, I guess. Let's center them. Let's bring this and bring this to the left. Add more. Yeah, it does look bad. It does look bad. I don't think it's bad. I think I'm happy with how it looks. What is going on here? Evidence intake. What? Process evidence intake. I did it. I think it didn't show up yet, probably. I'm not sure. Should I refresh? I would like to see the image, pretty please. Yeah, it doesn't seem to appear. Can I download it? Nice. I don't like this one either, honestly. For the audit card, just use the typewriter as before and add the word audit on the white page. And while this happens, I can grab the other ones and properly add them to frames and export them so that we can add them on the cards. So we do have the interrogation lamp one, so we need the magnifying brief. I'm guessing it's this one. Yeah. So let me download this. And let me also get back to Photoshop and actually create a new project. Make them 1080 by 1080, 300 pixels per inch, and let's say bad cop graphics. Let's quickly create a new artboard, and let's say that this is the first one that's audit. Then let's create a duplicate and name this what is it? Interrogation, and then we have the third one, which is brief. So that's awesome. And let me see what was the cannot reconnect. Okay. Let me download this, please. Awesome. I hate the gavel. I can probably remove this on Photoshop. I don't know why it brought it back. Unless, is that the way how it works? I have no clue, bro. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it looks weird. I'm not sure if this is how it works. Basically, this hits this area and then the words get punched. Like, why does this exist? Can you remove the gavel? I don't know how to explain this. Isn't that called the gavel? X on this area. I don't want this, basically. And I think we're gonna be great once this gets removed. So let's go to the brief one. So yeah, we need to remove the outside background only, the fill of it. Let's turn this into a rasterized object, and let's remove the background behind it. And also come to the artboard background color and turn it to a transparent one so that it looks great. And we can also add the interrogation one once again, and basically kind of bring it here, I guess. And do the same thing here, remove the background, and also remove this solid fill. Now we don't have the gavel. Yeah, I think it looks good. I can copy this, I think. Oh, I can't. Let me download this. And let's bring this inside. On this one, I'm hoping that, yeah, it's gonna fuck it up. So what I can do is actually grab the pen tool and vaguely grab those areas quickly so that I can have... This was a kind of annoying one, to be honest, to generate. Let me work on some quick pencil masking here. Because I feel like it's gonna be faster than having to work on a new generation. So let's do this real fast. Using the pen tool is always very fun, unless you do have to do this like 100 times. If you do this once in a while, it's fun. It's therapeutic, you know, you focus on the target to capture this as cleanly as possible. But if you have to do this 100 times, yeah, it gets hectic. So trying to capture this quickly. Some tedious areas, I'm trying to go a bit faster now. I think actually if I manage to close this area and basically select this and hide the one above before this, make this transparent and start capturing those small ones, I can save up some time. Yep. And this table went away, but I think it's gonna be faster for me to grab a shape tool and fill this back to white. Maybe do it like in a more squiggly way. Give it a bit more some imperfections. Let's do it like that. And yeah, I think I can use this as my first three, just so that we can also have a look as to how well those elements look also together, to be honest. So yeah, I think I can grab those three. And only one is slightly above 1 megabyte, so I'm trying to see if I can scale it down slightly. Oh, it gets too small. No, fuck it. Let's bring them all as they are, and I'm going to optimize it with the online tool that I'm using, Squash. So let's bring this here and basically maybe reduce palette. That can help. Yeah, it did help. Nice. So let's bring it back. Oh, it's a JPEG. Why is it a JPEG? Even though I have PNG? Oh, yeah, I don't know why. We can remove this one and this one. And I can rename this properly. And let's drop those three inside here. And ask bot to head over to the section and properly place the images. And let me also go to Figma for a visual inspiration look. And instead of adding this one, let me add the proper one with the typewriter. And what can I do? I mean, I should remove the number one shit because I hate it visually. And then I can probably, how is this set up here? I can ungroup this for sure. And I can introduce more spacing like that. And then this can definitely go like that. Okay. And here's a visual reference. Let's grab this. Here's a screenshot for visual reference, and also remove the number labels. Let's see how this is gonna look like. I'm very curious actually. I think it's gonna suit the website well. And we can maybe introduce some similar graphics to this area, maybe a key graphic in this area to kind of divide copy, maybe in between. And then something on the CTA, I guess, would be a nice addition. So let's see the result. Wait, I thought that it ended. What's the status? Maybe it stopped. Dev server is live. Okay, let's see if it's live or not. Wow, we went to Futsi. That's kind of sick, but what? Well, how'd that happen? I'm so perplexed. Why did that happen? Let's revert back. Why is Futsi running? Don't you think the website is a bit typography heavy? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to resolve here. Break up all of the typography and introduce some visual aesthetics to to make it easier on the eyes, structure layout a bit better. When it comes to the actual copy and context, I wouldn't want to tackle this in this stream because I'm thinking that it would be better to communicate with the actual founder, see how he feels about the landing page, and then he can also guide me through copy and decide together what can be done to get this to a leaner stage, because he has more context than me when it comes to copy. So even if I try to make it leaner, maybe I can forget something, or maybe some of the logic needs more copy and it's okay for the customer target group. So there's a lot of variables. So I feel like if we introduce the visual language, we can then use it as a way to break up copy, elevate the layout, but I also need to get in touch with the founder to dude, why is Futsi popping up? That's so crazy. Clean all past previews and update the live Badcop website and deploy. I'm not sure why this happens, but yeah, that's my goal. But yeah, I do agree that it still feels like there's a lot of copy, especially in my opinion in areas like this one. Any other area kind of is okay for now. But yeah, we do need to make it slightly leaner for sure. I agree. So I did have a hiccup here with the deployment stuff. So I'm hoping to have a live preview soon. And if this aesthetic actually looks well, we can probably work on adding something visually here, then refine this UI, make it a bit simpler, less visual feedback, and yeah, it's gonna be great progress for today. And that will give me some time to see what I can do with the CTAs, and I'm just thinking out loud. Probably have some time for the founder to check copy and if they basically like the overall aesthetic and approach. So we're at great progress so far. 2.5 hours in. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I feel like if not tomorrow, during this week, we're gonna have a lot of progress made in this website. So I want to see if we actually have the cards added here. Oh, we do. Unfortunately, I do see the a light background. What was I using here? Yeah, it was dark. So I definitely need to bring back the dark background. But I do like the aesthetic of it. Um, am I really liking it? I think I can do better for sure. I think I can do better. Does it feel like too AI sloppy? Let me see if let's see. Remove the background fill that you added behind those graphics. It might feel a bit AI sloppy, but I wasn't really able to find a better aesthetic. Trying to see if it actually feels AI sloppy or it's in my head. How does it look on mobile? On mobile, these get too big. I don't really mind it, but it might get away from take away from the text. So this needs refinement on mobile for sure. Let me see. This also needs alignment. Okay, okay. Yeah, this does feel better for sure. Yeah, I think I like it more with this transparent fill. It doesn't look that AI sloppy now for some reason. It feels more clean. So I think we can keep it that way for now, but just focus on for those three cards. Start by first giving more importance and visible space to the text on mobile rather than the images, and on all other sizes adjust the alignment between all three texts so that they adopt a top left alignment. Yeah, it is a bit sloppy. I mean, I agree with you. It is a bit sloppy. Do you have any visual inspiration that you can guide me towards? I cannot find any cool sketch-like aesthetics that I can replicate somehow. I'm wondering if this one is cool. I feel like this one is fun. This is a fun one. Huh, I don't know. I like this aesthetic. Maybe I can grab this. And I also like how they use blue, which is a big plus. Maybe we can can work on an idea like this. I want to see how it looks real quick on. Oh my god. Anyways, let me add this like that, very slopily. Just see how it looks when it comes to the style. I mean, I'm not really able to recognize mods. Maybe this needs a little bit more time in my head to decide. Let me see if this improvement made any sense. So on mobile, okay, for some reason it decided to cut them off, which is weird. Yeah, I don't know if I like this. But the alignment was successful. For mobile, do not crop the height of the pictures. Just scale them down slightly. Yeah, I think that if I'm not able to cook up another style for today, I can leave it like this so that we can have some time to gather feedback from the actual client. And this will give me time to see if I can find a better looking graphic design aesthetic I can base my graphics on. But it does look slightly AI slopey. I will agree with you. Yeah, I'm not right on top of my head. I cannot find anything. Well, in my opinion, I think the style is good, but I would like to simplify the images in terms of cleaner images without any extra AI stylization. Yeah, maybe going with a style that matches more of the actual mascot can help us out in this case. Because I do also feel like the extra shadows and the specific type of shadowing, they I replicated well, but it still looks sloppy. So maybe we can do that actually right now. Um, let's convey that to Bud and say something like those three graphics that we added are very close to the graphic design aesthetic I am looking for Bad Cop, but I want to see a variation of them where they appear less stylized and maybe they match the style that our mascot has a bit closely in order to remove and tone down all unnecessary and AI slope design elements that the current graphics have. And just as a reminder, I can drop my full character maybe, why not? Maybe I can add it as a reference. And check out the mascot, the creative logo as a reference to get an idea of our mascot once again. Let's see if that helps and maybe those images can be toned down a bit. Just generate the images and do not add them to the website yet. I want to first test out how they look. Yeah, I think this version is way more palatable. Doesn't look that much as AI slop. It looks more fun graphic design. I think it can work way better, and it definitely matches our mascot more. So maybe we're on a path, a good path here. What do you think, VibeTune? Should I keep this? Yeah, this is kind of fun, actually. I think we can give them a try and see how they look on our website. I do feel like they went too simple. Maybe we can introduce fuck, I don't know. Yeah, let's just W. Hell yeah, okay. If it's a W, I'm gonna give it a try. Let's see how they look. The brief one is kind of shitty, to be honest. Maybe the brief one is audit and then brief. Yeah, the brief one is a shitty one. The other ones are good. Focus on a better image for brief. At least for the typewriter. Yeah. The interrogation one feels like a bit like poor, visually poor. Also enrich the interrogation scene. Those two feel visually poorer than the typewriter one. So maybe we do have only the typewriter as a cool looking one. So let's go ahead and actually redoing them. Redoing those, and let's bring the audit inside. Let's remove the background. Let's rasterize this. Awesome. Now let's see what the results are gonna be for the other ones. Yeah, I'm not a fan. The fuck. I think I'm approaching this hastily, I guess. Now these generations feel weird, like very generic. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. This might work, but it has too much text. It's like, fuck, I don't know. I don't like it a lot. How can I convey this in a better way? Okay, I think I will dedicate 5 minutes and think of a scene that can make sense here. So the audit one, does it make sense to be a typewriter? Not really. The interrogation one makes sense. Basically, a lamp shining light on a stack of papers or like servers and shit. And then the brief definitely needs to be something like a dossier of documents, like laid out in a nice way, something like that. But for the audit, I don't really have any idea. So instead of running in circles, I want to say something like, let's focus first on brainstorming for this section because our current graphics are a bit weak. For create the audit, I don't really have any good ideas. For interrogate the target, we can definitely stick to the idea of a lamp shining light on documents, stacked papers, dossiers, servers, hardware, etc. For read the brief, we can focus on a series of documents placed in a nice way and some sort of instrument analyzing them. And maybe for the audit, start with company context and deal stage. Yeah, I don't really have any good ideas actually. So suggest 3 scenes for each. Do not generate, just brainstorm. Now let's see if we can have a result before the 3-hour mark here. I also think we can introduce slightly rougher brush strokes and maybe one shade, one type of shade that's not just solid fill, black fill, just to get some depth in those. Those right now look like a coloring book, so I'm not really a fan of them. So let's see. Create the audit. Open case file on a desk. Corkboard day 1. Stamp on a dossier. Okay. Maybe we can go with the open case file on a desk. I think blank folder is lying open. A hand is placing a small card or label with company name onto the first page. Yeah, I feel like this makes sense. So for number 1, let's go with the open case file on the desk. For number 2, lamp over hardware. The hanging lamp shines down on a pile of servers, a laptop, and stacked hard drives on a table. Lamp over scattered dossiers and sticky note warnings. The beam falls on open folders, spilling papers with a few sticky notes flagged in the light pool. More chaotic energy fits the interrogation feeling. Yeah, go with that. I want to see that. And for number 3, 3 flagged documents found on a desk. Okay. Report pulled from envelope. Clipboard with red pen circling findings. Huh. The 3 flagged documents found on a desk sounds fun, for sure. Clipboard with red pen circling findings. Yeah, I don't know. A folded document being drawn out of a sealed envelope. Yeah, I feel like this one is the best one. A report pulled from an envelope. And then some other pointers is to introduce a slightly more rough or like brittle, how can you say that? Brittle brush stroke to avoid perfect lines. Also introduce a nice way of adding some subtle shade because the current graphics look more like a coloring book. So let's see if we can generate those 3. So generate for number 1 this. Yeah, we're good. Let's see. Okay. He decided to add some color. It's I don't really mind actually. We can saturate them down. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I hate the dossier. I don't know if I even say it correctly in English. Dossier. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm actually not a big fan because there's too much text. It feels very AI sloppy. Maybe we can tone down on the text by a lot actually. So number one, tone down on the text by a lot inside the images. Then only use a duotone color scheme. Jesus Christ, why is it happening? Color scheme, black and white. And number three, am I actually satisfied with how they look? This is basically opening up a case, which kind of makes sense. The lamp over the files is good. I wouldn't say it isn't. And then the envelope isn't really good, actually. You generated images that kind of give off a negative feeling. So strictly focus on visualizing what the copy says without too much added emotion. And I don't know, I'm still not very fond of the aesthetic. Maybe we can introduce more clever shading by maybe introduce a more unique shading technique and follow a pixelated dither effect. I don't know. I'm just freestyling right now. Let's see if this series of images is good and if that's satisfying for us. If it's not, I will probably stick to the initial ones for now or the second series and try and see if I can gather some feedback also. And at the same time, dedicate a few moments offline to see if I can find better graphic design inspo to feed to the AI. Yeah, these are actually very cool ones. Yeah. Please, let me see if the other two are actually also great. Yeah, I think I like those a lot. And then maybe we can use them as without having to remove the background. Yeah, those look very nice. And they also add to the whole detective aesthetic. They look very noir. They're not that AI sloppy, actually. Apologies. Yeah, I think I can go with them. With those for now. They do look great. And I wonder if we can stick to this one now has a background fill. This kind of sucks. Anyways, I think I can add those as they are for now. Maybe wouldn't it be cool to remove the background because the shading is gonna be a bit not great looking. So I would say, yeah, these ones look great. Swap them with the current images we use for those cards. Also ensure that those images have zero padding, spacing, margin, etc. from the edges of the card, so that they fill out their frame properly. Good improvement. Nice. I'm glad. Yeah, I feel like this is a good base to work on. It doesn't look like AI slop, which is what I needed. And this gives us a nice chance to start populating a few other areas, and we can gather better feedback from the actual founder also. So let's see if the bleeding is also gonna be fixed so that the images look better, and we'll be at a great stage, honestly. Let's see how the website looks with this update now in the next few minutes. Let's quickly hit refresh. Yeah, this is actually very fun. Yeah, I like this a lot. It does look humongous on mobile still, but it's definitely a better approach. Maybe on mobile, what I can do now that I see it is instead of having the same card design, I can make this a small square thumbnail, and instead of them being stacked vertically, they can stack horizontally, and this can give a lot more emphasis on the text. So for this section on mobile, it would be better to see instead of the card having the emotes and text stacked vertically. For mobile, it would be better to have them stacked horizontally, with the emotes becoming a smaller square, and now text can have more dominance and visibility for mobile. Maybe that would be a better approach to that. And while this happens, which is responsiveness fixes, I think we can focus on this area now. And instead of tweaking copy for now, I want to see what we can introduce between the title and subtitle and those cards as a main graphic, just to add some more visual elements. This is looking great. I think I like it a lot. I'm very happy with how it looks. We do approach 3 hours in a bit, which is pretty sick. We've done a ton of things. especially if you remember how it looked yesterday. So I'm very happy with that. And I want to see how well it looks on mobile now. This section, let me see. Yeah, this is exactly what I had in mind. Maybe this should be fixed a bit. I don't know why it has more height. Yeah, maybe we can introduce the same height for all cards so that the images can stick to the edges without any empty space below them. That will fix that for sure. And then we have all the time to stick to this. So your target gets a digital interrogation, not a vague questionnaire. So I can grab this as a screenshot and maybe start a follow-up prompt like, now let's focus on the how can we call this screen? Is that are those the features? Kind of. Let's grab the title of it. The goal is to introduce a graphic in between title and subtitle and the rest of the cards for that section. Let's brainstorm and suggest some ideas that would look great for that area. Again, following the same exact aesthetic for the graphic as we did for the previous 3 cards. I think that's a good prompt. And let's wait for Bud to update this fix for mobile. I think it didn't. Oh yeah, it did. Nice. Excellent work. Everything now looks way more refined. Responsiveness is a whole other thing that I can definitely dedicate more hours to. But for today, having this foundation is very necessary. And I can do all of the optimizations afterwards. So I'm gonna click on this prompt to see what I can generate for ideas. And I'm just gonna hit a quick break since we are on the 3-hour mark. And I'll be back soon so that I can take a look at the results as well. So BRB, thanks for hanging out, and I'll be right back very, very soon. Be right back. We are back. We are back. Let me drink some water. Excellent. So let's see what the brainstorming sesh have for us. Option 1, the conversation feed, a wide horizontal view of a chat style interface, simple bold question bubbles, short answer bubbles on the other, no real text, block placeholders, okay. Interrogation room, wide shot, evidence board, question sequence, horizontal timeline or sequence of bold question marks, transitioning into document icons. Let me see. Yeah, we do talk about questionnaire and interrogations, so the question sequence makes sense for sure. The digital subject, a simplified isometric or flat view of a tech stack. Servers, code base layers, a domain icon, a team icon, all lined up across the frame under the interrogation lamplight. It makes the target tangible and technical. The suggested picks is 2 and 3. Okay, the 3 was a wide corkboard stretching the full width. I feel like this is a nice one visually, and it captures nicely this white spot, for sure. Maybe we can generate all 4. Yeah, generate all 4. Generate all 4 first ones. The only one that I didn't like was option number 5, so I'm willing to see which one I like more. This will be good. At the same time, I'm thinking of maybe I can order later. I'm kind of getting hungry. Let's see how far we can get in the next 30 minutes until we hit 3:30 for our stream. And then we can decide if we can continue or we can focus on working on it tomorrow. This is very dull, I would say, so it's definitely no, real quick. I don't really like it, it's too basic. And I honestly think that we can change this to a graphic in our style instead of having it as UI. It will bring way more cohesion to the brand. So I'm thinking of doing this as well. Instead of refining the UI, let's turn this into a graphic as well. The interrogation one kind of looks nice, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, okay. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I think the corkboard is gonna win, or the wide horizontal one with the question marks. So let's see. Yeah, I think the corkboard is a winner for now, 100%. It captures the vibe very well. It looks kind of repetitive, but it's a good placeholder. Absolutely good move. Nice. Thanks for hanging out, VibeTune. I really appreciate your company, brother. This one is nice. Maybe we can introduce this, but with less height. Maybe this can become more a more elegant one. How does this turn out to be on mobile? It's stacked, so it wouldn't look that bad. You know what? How would the corkboard look in this case? Where is it? Banner. I'm sorry. Corkboard. So the corkboard, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. The corkboard gets too repetitive. This one kind of makes more sense. It's more direct. I will go with this one with less height and introduce a more elegant one. So let's go with this one. but let's not use full height. We can crop it to an area where it appears wide but short without the visuals being cut off. Also make sure it looks proper on mobile. Stack it as a banner in between. And let's hit enter to see how this looks. And at the same time, I can drop the UI of this one and say something like, instead of having this as an actual UI element, see if you can recreate a version of this into our iconic graphic design style that we have been using so far as a way to bring the whole aesthetic closer, branding wise. So let's queue this up and let's see how this new visual is gonna look. Now adding the CSS for the banner, wide, short, rounded corners. Nice, no overflow. Let's see how this looks. And taking a look at this again, after a few minutes of having a break, I still like this. So this is positive. I still do like this. I have to find an image of the founder or anything else that I can find. And while this loads, actually I was thinking about something while I was taking a break. I want to see if I can use Unicorn Studio and slightly animate those cards in this style. So what if I go and create a new project and stick to a square, and let's add one of those images. Let's add the first one. I want to see if I can bring more life to this. Apologies for coughing again. So let's fit this to artboard, and let's see if I can, even glyph dithering would be cool. So I need some sort of noise to bring some animation to it. So let's go with dithering. Yeah, it definitely already looks more alive. That's for sure. But I want to incorporate this in a more interesting way. Maybe let's go to a slower speed, introduce more of them, mixing them. Do I have any blending modes for this? No. Maybe we can stick to one that's subtle and then see if I can add something on top. Maybe pixelating it in a slight amount can work well. I'm not sure. No, that doesn't really work well. But I like the slight animation that I'm introducing, so I will probably use this. I will probably use this for every one of them. Let's make the speed of this a little bit faster. And I want to see how else I can bring this to life and make it more interactive, actually. How about adding more halftone? What does gonna do? Nothing much, actually. Maybe, no, I don't see any advantage to that. Saved as product preview illustration. Oh, let me see how well this remake of our UI section looks like as an illustration. Critical, medium, title holder. Okay, the copy is weird. How about just replicating this as it is, but in our style? What is that? Maybe I wasn't clear enough. So let's say something like, please replicate this UI as you see it, but in our unique graphic design aesthetic. Maybe that would be more targeted. We're also very close to finding something cool here. Maybe blurring it? I don't know. Tracking mouse, blurring it doesn't make sense. So what can I do here? Pixelate, liquify, blind, shatter, bloom. How about adding a little bit of bloom? What is that gonna do? Maybe a slight blue tint. Maybe that can make it slightly more unique, so adding a little bit of a bloom. I don't know. Something like that. It tones down the darkness a bit, so it's not bad. Yeah, this is excellent. I like this. I think we can try swapping this just as an idea, and we can come back to this. So far, I like the idea of adding all of those elements to Unicorn Studio and bringing them to life. It would be beneficial for us, I think. So I'm gonna keep on working on finding some cool stuff to add here and animate this somehow. Maybe I can add an extra version of dithering, and that can be pretty cool. I'm wondering if I can also add some sort of yeah, this is what I was looking at, basically. This 2D shape and make it the square and remove a lot of these. I'm cooking something here. I'm not sure what, but something is being cooked here. Do I like this effect? This is fun, for sure. How can I improve the sides? Magnifying it doesn't make sense. Maybe we can introduce interactivity here. Yeah, I don't mind that, actually. Maybe I can make this like a 12% movement. Introduce more momentum. Yeah, it's a cool little like thing you can do. But I don't know. No, don't X. Viewport ring. What if I go back to the circle? Maybe I can stick to the circle one. It just adds a nice slight effect to everything. Blending mode is on color burn right now. Color dodge or color burn. No, color burn is cool. It's kind of fun. Can I tone down the oh, maybe inverting it is actually better? Fuck, I don't know. What makes more sense? This makes more sense. Mouse distortion. What is mouse distortion in this case? Oh, that's not fun. That's not bad. You know what? We're sticking with Unicorn Studio. So I think what I can do while I work on these is to come back to that area and actually sync. Okay, this has been added. Kind of looks weird, but it translates well on mobile. I might change it, I'm not sure. I actually think I can build this myself, maybe. I guess it wasn't standard as an image generation. So maybe I can refine it myself a little bit. Let me see. Let me grab this one and let me grab this one as well. It does feel centered actually. Yeah, it is pretty centered. So why wasn't that well? Try and center the image better so that, how can I explain this properly? Because no matter what, it does start from a position that's not center aligned a lot. Try and center align the image better inside its frame for the how does this section called? How does it call it? Let me see. Doesn't really mention it for the this section. So now if we say that this is a bad cop audit, let's create a duplicate and create the where are we? This is the audit, this is the interrogation one, so let's go to the interrogation one. So bad cop interrogation. Let's change it real quick. Come on. Come on, bro. Let me refresh. Nice. I think this is kind of fun. Adds more character to it. So I'm keeping it. I don't know. I might change it. Let's see how it looks also. So let's download the JSON files of those. And let's make a copy for the final one. Let's first try them out on this section, and if it looks well, I can apply it to the rest. And this is called let me see, brief. Okay, so bad cop brief. And how do they look on mobile and stuff? Okay, we don't really care because it's gonna stay. Oh shit, fuck. So am I messing it up for everything else? Export as JSON. I hope it gets exported as a square. I'm not sure. And let me also export the first one so that I can have it as a JSON. And let's go back and see the preview. It's more balanced. I can fix that later. Let's see if our idea of adding Unicorn Studio animation can bring this more to life. So for the 3 cards, instead of the static images, I decided to test out how well the Unicorn Studio animations of them would look like. So swap each one properly with the Unicorn Studio embed. JSONs, not embed. And also read this manual and the docs from Unicorn Studio to embed this properly. Documents. Nice. So let's see how well an animated version of those can look like. Now let me also grab this element just to see how it looks on a Unicorn Studio embed as well. So let's duplicate this again. And now we need to go for a window version. I just sneezed, so I had to mute my microphone. I think I look fairly well. I look fucking red, actually. Let me turn this to blue, maybe. Can balance out how red I'm looking. Yeah, not really. Kinda tried its best. Wow, that was a nice sneeze. So let me make this 1920 by 1080 and swap the emotes to the new one. I hope I I can have a proper Unicorn Studio Embed application on that one. For this one, I think we need to remove that element and the background and just keep it like that. I feel like this is a fun addition to it. So let's say bad cop. You can name this hero element. So let's export this as JSON also. And we can add this afterwards. I'm very curious to see if it actually works well. This one needs a bit more, less height probably on top, but it might be how the image is exported, probably. I have to look at this. Maybe I can fix this while I'm on Unicorn Studio. Probably. What if we remove this and add this? I actually wanted to bring back the no, maybe we can leave this as it is actually and not bring the zoom in effect. But it does look like it's slightly a few points below. So maybe I need to do something like that here and basically bring this to by 1080 frame. Basically add it like this. And let's see if it actually worked for now. Oh, it did, but for some reason those two are the same. It is maybe my fault. So let me go back to this actually. First of all, since I did have it ready, let's quickly update this one so that we can have a cleaner version of it. And since Bud actually picked up on Unicorn Studio perfectly, I can update all of them at once now. So this one, how can we call it? I guess we can call it Bud Cop interrogation flow, interrogation process, and export this. Maybe I can also make it I'll actually leave it as it is. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. As JSON. And let's go back to the previous ones to see which one of them never got. Okay, so this is the interrogation one. Okay, and this never got changed. Awesome. So now we have those. Let's also download this again. And okay, didn't download properly. Okay. Nice. So let's drop let's drop this one And let's also grab this one again. And I also want the one on the hero. Have I saved it? Yeah. So swap the current UI that mocks up the audit result with bad cop hero element JSON, no background fill, not inside the card. And then swap the current read the brief JSON with the new one I attached. And what else? Also add the new JSON I attached for the static image we now use on the interrogation process section. Let's see if those updates actually bring us closer to a more unique style. And yeah, I think we've done a lot of things today. If those also actually end up looking well, I think we have a nice end to today's stream basically, and that will help me gather more feedback and see how I can take it from there. But based on the actual before, or maybe the current website, which is this one, I think our work is way more unique. The brand identity is more cohesive, and the more you scroll, the less overwhelmed you feel, I feel like, which doesn't really happen here. So yeah, I think we're in great hands. I definitely need to add the testimonials back because I don't really see them. So that's definitely something that I need to add back. But either way, I will do a couple of audits and comparisons with the original website to see what we are missing in terms of context. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do basically for now. Let's see how well those are gonna be added. We're gonna review real quick, and the next steps are basically gonna be us refining and optimizing the website, of course. Maybe in the meantime we can get an idea of how the founder feels like about our work, so that we can have more data on copy, on visual direction and all that. And yeah, I mean, it's only been 2 days that we worked on that, and it already looks phenomenal. So I'm not mad at all about this. We do have a few more sections we can work on, but if the landing page rocks, then the rest is basically applying the same patterns, and it can be done faster. I cannot wait for this to change. I don't like watching the same thing. Come on, change. Let's hit refresh. Let's go back here. This is fun looking, honestly. I wonder how it looks on mobile. Oh, nice. It's not annoying at all. Yeah, there's something here. I have to think about it a bit. This looks immediately better, which is great. On mobile also. That's a W. And then we have the 3 areas here, which definitely look way better animated. Maybe the fact that they all follow the same movement is annoying, so I might change that. But in terms of visual aesthetics, this is a step further than what we had before. This also looks fun. Maybe I can put more emphasis on that. This is fun. So yeah, just a summary of what we've managed to do today. Let's go back to my notes. So we started by introducing more variety of colors, basically for this section, but we ended up turning this into a graphic that matches our aesthetic. So this is done. We refined the layout for a lot of sections, and we also made responsive the website responsive. We do need to focus on individual sections and suggest better ideas, like we did on this one. But overall, the aesthetic looks great. This also looks fun whenever it's small, but I think we can also improve this. So this is also done. Some areas that were too copy heavy, we either added graphics or we slightly refined copy. Anything about the cards, this was also done. So this is nice. The graphic design aesthetic, we are on our way on that. We're almost pretty much sure that this is what we're gonna go for. And this is also something that we've done, incorporating images. I haven't done adding icons yet, so this is something that definitely needs to be added for another stream. So the summary was that we added the logo, which is this cool looking mascot for now, which is a big W. We didn't have a logo, we didn't have a font mark, we didn't have a visual aesthetic, and yeah, we're pretty much on our way to greatness here. So this was today's stream. I feel like it was very productive and we absolutely did a lot of progress. So before I close, let me grab a quick cool screenshot for YouTube. A couple of elements here for fun. And then I can close the stream and I can probably be live tomorrow. I'm not sure about how much work I have to get done tomorrow. But today's stream was very successful, very productive. And thanks to everybody for sticking till the end. Let me grab a quick screenshot here. Nice. Let me also make myself small again. And that was it, guys. We did a ton of work today. See you very, very soon on the next one. Focus on me. It's too dark to focus. Anyways, thanks a lot for hanging out with me and see you in the next one. Peace.